Hi and welcome to Inner Child Play Therapy's YouTube channel. Thank you so much for checking it out. So today I am coming on because I had done a little quick reel on my Instagram around drawing at night, or kind of encouraging that communication in a more creative way rather than sitting down and asking your child what's wrong or what's going on. So I'm going to put up a wee thing at the side of what you need. So when you're doing this here, this can work with children as young as 3 right up to whatever age your child is. Some of the things that I do is I often like to do this in the evening time in bed whenever the child is in bed, snuggled up, and I like to then do it then. When kids get a wee bit older, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but like the idea of reading to them whenever they're like 8 or 9, they don't want it because either they read themselves or they would rather read you the story. So that idea of that bonding time sometimes can disappear because they don't want you anymore at night time, kind of taking them to bed as such. So this is a really good wee exercise to do, and I kind of call it like a check-in. So I think it's a lovely thing to do with your child. Really, as I say, at night time, whenever kind of things are settled, more calmer. But again, there's nothing to say you can't do this during the day or like after dinner or whatever time suits your family situation. So what you need for this one is a little art pad. So I tend to either go for this style or I go for the ones that are ring binded as well. So it means you're not running around with loose papers. I don't know about you guys, but I think whenever children draw pictures and it all comes in like loose paper, we don't know what to do with it, and they end up, bits of it gets thrown out or we lose pieces, and I think we're not honouring the fact that they've actually created something for us, and we end up just going, okay, I'm putting it away. Whereas if it's in like a booklet like this or a ring bind, it doesn't get lost, it stays in here, so you have them all in the same page or the same place. So one of these, I got this in B&M, and then I get a pencil case with pencils, and I keep this wherever I tend to do this check-in. So for me, it is evening time at bed, so this stays in my children's top locker of their room. And I'm just going to show you what I kind of do and how you can do it at home then with your kids, and just the style of it. So blank page, okay. Usually, because again my children are slightly younger, if your children are older, you can kind of have one each. But what I do is I just use the one page, and I tend to either get them or me to draw a line down the middle of it. And the reason for this is so that they have their space and I have my space. Now, if your child comes over to your space, that's okay. I don't often go into their space unless I'm invited to. The reason for that is because this is a clear boundary that I think is really good for children to know that are put in place for them. So again, this is why it can be really useful for them to draw the line. It doesn't always have to be like this, it could be like a circle or whatever they want, but they're creating their boundary for them that they want to kind of stay in. Now, as I say, if they come over to yours, that's okay, but I don't go into theirs unless I'm invited. What I do usually for me is when I'm doing this, I always put a timer on. Bedtimes can go on for ages. Look, we all know sometimes they like to kind of milk it a wee bit, and it can go on for half an hour trying to get them to bed. So I usually use a timer for either 5, say 7 minutes or something. I use either my phone timer on my phone, or I use like a wee egg timer that you can get on Amazon that has like bubbles in it. Something that you know will attract them. Sometimes phone timers can be distracting because your phone's in the room. When I do this, I do like to have my phone either on silent or mute or in airplane mode, which means I won't get any disturbance, but at the same time I can still use the timer. It's just so that your child knows that you are being fully present for that length of time and that you're not going to get distracted. So I think it just shows a sign of respect for them and for you, because you're putting that time aside truly for them, and you're not going to get like a WhatsApp, or you're not going to get an Instagram notification or all the rest that we do. So it's good to put it, just keep it for you and your child. So what I use this time for is whenever I'm doing it, I always say to my child, okay, look, this is your time now to draw whatever you want. Doesn't have to be anything in particular, just whatever you're feeling. So I get them to draw on one side and I draw on the other. And when I'm drawing, I do try and do it in silence. Now, they can talk if they want, but I tend not to ask them questions while I'm doing it. I think it's really good just to take that few minutes just to sit and do whatever comes naturally. Now, when I'm doing this, look, doesn't have to be everything. It could be lines, squiggles, doesn't have to be particular shapes. And your child will do the same. So when you're doing this, I do always say to parents, don't just automatically assume what your child's drawing, because look, your child could draw a circle and to them it could be Jurassic World, or they could draw a line and it could be a dinosaur, but it doesn't look like that to us. So it's really good not to have the assumption there and just go with whatever they tell you. So when you finish drawing, so I've done one earlier, so I'm just going to show you so you have ideas of what I'm on about. So when you're finished drawing, it can look anything like this, okay? So one's my child's side and the other one is my side. What I do then, whenever we're finished, is I would say, okay, so wonder who would like to go first and tell me what they've drawn. Again, it could be either you or it could be your child. So let them take the lead if they want, or they might say, Mummy, I want you to do it, and that's fine. So for example, for this one, okay, this is my side. It made no sense. I just drew whatever I wanted to draw, and my child drew this side. So again, when we look at this, we could go, oh my goodness, look at that big dark cloud. Oh, what is he feeling? Da, 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 da. Don't. Let them do with it. So when I do it, I just explain what I've drawn. Well, I drew our family. I drew this big thing in the sky. I don't really know what it was. These are like flowers and stars. And then I get them to do their side. So for example, with this, the child may try and say, oh, well, this is me, and this is the rainstorm, and da-da-da. What I then do, and what you could take from it, is go, oh, so I wonder how this little person here is feeling. And you could look at it and say, oh, well, actually, there's a smile on that face. I wonder what's making them feel like they need to smile. So you're not saying the word happy unless they say it. You don't put any words in your child's mouth. You quite literally reflect on the words that they're saying. So if they say, this person's smiling. Oh, I wonder why that person's smiling. It feels nice to smile, doesn't it? And then you go on and they'll continue the conversation. Or what you could do is, obviously we're drawn to this big ball here of whatever this could be. So again, I wonder what colours are used inside this ball. And they'll reflect that, well, I've used blue and purple and whatever. And then you go, oh, I wonder what that big ball could be. It's a rainstorm, it's a cloud, it's a rainbow. It could be whatever that they say it is, and you go with it. So you reflect it back. Oh, so it could be a rainbow. Wow, that's a really interesting rainbow. I see you've used a lot of different colours in that rainbow. Wonder why that is. So again, you'll notice I'm not saying, why have you done this? Or is this you? Why is it? What does this mean? It's very much quite light. It's I wonder all the time and reflect back what they say. So again, in this particular instant, this little one was feeling happy, but there was a big rainstorm. So whenever we reflected back on it, it was no, actually, this is a really, really, really cloud. I don't like the rain, but I know that it helps water the plants. So down here, actually, these are plants. So this allowed me to reflect this back to the child and saying that, oh, okay, so you don't like this, but you know, actually, it's got a good reason behind it. So you can see how this can generate a conversation then to allow you to open up other areas for your child. Now, if your child is a wee bit older, what I would suggest then is, I wonder if you could come up with a title for your picture. So then they can maybe call this, you know, whatever they say it is. And again, mums, dads, do your side as well. You name a title for your picture and whatever comes to your mind. Or if they're a wee bit younger and you know that maybe actually coming with a title might be a wee bit hard, I wonder what one word you could use that best describes your picture. So it could be any word that they want, or if you want to really make it specific, I wonder what feeling that you would use to describe your picture. That's another way you can look at it. Or another way one when they're older as well, and you know that they're really getting the reflection is, I wonder when you look at your picture how it makes you feel. And then you can go from that. And again, any question that you're asking that way, you answer as well. Well, actually, when I look at my picture, I kind of feel a wee bit happy when I look at it. But then I'm also a little bit sad. Wonder why you're sad? I don't know, actually. And it's okay not to have the answers, but reflect on everything that they're doing, but also reflect on your own work. But I always think it's really important, if you're asking them anything to do, it's really good that you do it, because there's a sense of engagement. There's that sense of you having that pure full time to them, no distraction. I do call these like little check-ins. So as I would say to people, a lot of times parents are like, oh, they're grand, but they'll draw on their own. That's okay. A lot of times I would do lots of things on my own, and I'm sure you would. But how nice is it whenever our friend or our partner or our family members just check in and be like, oh, do you need any help with that? You okay? And you can say, no, I'm fine. But just to know that they care. Sometimes as parents, life takes over. We're doing 101 things, making dinner, changing nappies, doing lots. And we forget to just check in and say, do you want any help with that? Or I wonder, can I join in? And you'll see sometimes the shock in your child's face, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, of course you can join in. The same way a lot of times kids want to try and join in with what we're doing with our chores, if we're making dinner or we're putting on the washing or hanging out the washing. Sometimes they're like, oh, can I help? Now again, as parents, it's quicker to say, no, it's fine, I'll do it myself. But that's them checking in on us. So it's really, really good that we do it back to them and let them know. So this is just a little drawing technique that I love to use in the evenings. Again, it doesn't have to be used in the evenings, and all you need for it is a little book, some pencils, and a wee timer. And that's everything. So let me know how you get on with that. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the more videos. See ya!